I think it was just me.
Well, good morning. It's just such a beautiful morning here at the Field of Honor, surrounded by hundreds of American flags honoring our past and present American heroes, active military veterans, healthcare workers, and also law enforcement and firefighters. And I have a couple of Lynchburg firefighters with me right now who are certainly heroes. Master Firefighter Patrick Madigan and Firefighter Tammy Kelly. Good morning. And you guys, this is such a cool story. Not too long ago, back in the spring, you all rescued two little girls from a burning apartment building. So we just wanted to talk to you a few minutes about that. Patrick Madigan, let's start with you. You've been a firefighter in Lynchburg for 10 years. And so start with you. Let's walk us through that day. You got the call, and it was an apartment fire at James Crossing, I believe, and pick it up from there.
I think every time we get a fire call or you hear those tones drop, we get pretty excited. And so everybody's rushing to the truck and get your gear on and you're heading down the road. And I think before we got there, we heard that there were possible victims inside. Engine 2 arrived on scene first. We were just behind them. And EMS 1 was already on scene taking command. And he said, go straight in for rescue. So we went straight to the third floor and started searching the rooms up there.
When you got there, and firefighter Tammy Kelly will get your perspective here, could you see smoke coming from the apartment? Could you see flames coming from the apartment? What were you seeing?
Like Master Firefighter Madigan said, before arrival, someone is updating you when they get there. We were already told that there was smoke showing from the backside of the building, so that we already knew, and as soon as we got on scene, we were given an assignment. So yeah, you could see some smoke, especially once we entered into the hallway. We had to go up a couple flight of stairs. It was quite smoky there. It was pretty black out in the hallway there.
And set the scene for us as far as people, other people. Were they outside? Were they yelling? I was going to say, I imagine people were saying, there are people inside. There are people, kind of screaming at you to what was going on.
Yeah, there were quite a few people because it is a large apartment complex. There were quite a few residents outside, and then, of course, everyone from the fire department and the police department. So it's chaotic. There are a lot of people. We actually were told that there were people inside the apartment because they were on the phone with dispatch. So dispatch was relaying that information to us, more so than anyone on scene. So we had that information, and it took a little while to figure out exactly what apartment it was. Because of the conditions in the hallway, we couldn't see the numbers to know which apartment building or which apartment they were actually in. So it took a little bit to get to that apartment. We had several apartments to get into and clear, but like I said, dispatch was able to give us that information, so we knew.
And then once you found the right apartment, and we'll go back to Master Firefighter Madigan, what happened then?
So we didn't want to bring them back down the stairwell because that's
talk about just rescuing them in the first place.
Yeah. So. Like Tammy said, we went through 3 apartments before we got to the actual apartment that they were in, and we had to force the door there because they locked it. And when we got in there, the conditions were good. Because the door was shut, that's a big thing. If you shut the door, you stop all that smoke and heat from coming in there. So they did a good job of shutting that door. They locked it, but we got through that part. And we found them in the back bedroom, and they were just very nervous and everything like that. And so our thought was, let's not go back through the smoky conditions. Let's make sure you're okay here. And then we called down for a ladder, and we took them out the 3rd floor window.
These were 2 little girls. What were their ages? Do you remember their ages? They were little.
14.
Yeah, I think one was a teenager and one was preteen, maybe 8, 9, somewhere around that age.
And what were, I can only imagine they were kind of cowered in the back bedroom, and they've locked the door, and it's chaotic, and they're so scared. What was their reaction when they saw you all?
They were nervous. They were scared. I think anyone would be in that situation. But they actually did very well. Given how scared they were able to pull it together and kind of listen and do what we need them to do. There's a little coaxing to get one of them out onto the ladder because that's a scary thing. You're telling someone to climb out of a ladder. There was someone on the ladder to help them, but it was still a little coaxing involved for one of them, but they did great. They stayed as calm as they could considering what was happening around them, and they did really good.
Here, step out this 3rd floor window.
Exactly.
That's a relief of faith, but you all were there. And at the time, do you get the sense, I mean, was there smoke coming in, or was there a real sense of urgency?
Yeah, always. We want to get them out of that environment, right? Because we have all of our protective gear and our air packs and everything like that, but they don't. So anytime that we introduce them to that environment, we got to move kind of quickly. So after we got in, we shut the door, and we had crews. We probably had 4 or 5 other units in the downstairs apartment putting out the fire. So they were doing their job, and we were doing our job. So big team effort on that. So once we isolated them up into that room and were able to help them out the window, they were good. So.
Once you got them back down on the ground, was there any kind of a joyful reunion, or how was that when they were back on solid ground?
Actually, they went down the ladder out the window, like you said, but we had our protective gear on, so we were able to actually exit the way we came in.
Right.
But I did speak with them sometime after, while they were still on scene. Of course, the medics were checking them out, just making sure that they were okay, and I was able to go over and speak with them and actually get a hug, and they were great. I think the relief was more on their family's face. I think that they may have still been in shock a little, but they were very grateful, and the family was super appreciative.
When you go through something like that, is your heart racing? Is the adrenaline kicked in, or is it just kind of par for the course? This is what you do.
No, the adrenaline's racing. Yeah, you'd like to say it's par for the course, and we're so mild-mannered and calm when things happen like this. But at the same time, anytime we get a call, like I said, your adrenaline starts pumping. And I find that most of the firefighters that we work with, we're very task-oriented, and so we're not thinking about the situation, about how someone feels, or all that kind of stuff. During this time, we have a job to do, and we got to get it done. And so you rely on that adrenaline to go into places that normally you wouldn't. Granted, we are protected with our gear and stuff like that. We're afforded those good resources, but your adrenaline's still kicking when you go through that stuff.
And then it's after the fact that when it's all finished, you can say, "Wow, that was something else."
Mm-hmm.
So, well, congratulations on a job well done, heroic act. It's what you do. You're firefighters, but rescuing the 2 little girls, and I know you were honored by the city of Lynchburg, and the family was so appreciative as well. And thank you for joining us this morning. In the Field of Honor honors heroes like you. So thank you very much. Lynchburg Master Firefighter Patrick Madigan and Firefighter Tammy Kelly. Thank you.